Hello, welcome everyone. We are thrilled, jazzed, and super excited to welcome everyone to the 2022 Professional Bootcamp, the place to learn, connect, and be inspired. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Give a shout out if not. I'm super excited to be sharing this stage with my fellow panelists. Just to give you a little background, the gameHERs Professional Bootcamp is an immersive 3-day virtual event that brings top industry leaders together to share their insights and advice for the next generation of content creators, industry professionals, and gamers. My name is Heather Ouida, pronoun she, her, and I'm the moderator of today's Kickoff and Welcome panel, the business of building a business in gaming, as well as building your own personal professional brand. A little bit of background on how we thought we could kind of kick this boot camp off in this panel, and a little background on myself too. So I am the president and one of the 4 co-founders here at the gameHERs. And I'm sure this panel will get into this more, but in a nutshell, for those of you that are new to the gameHERs, we're one of the first and largest media platforms and social networking communities and lifestyle brands for women and femme-identifying people who game and who work in the gaming industry. My background is in community building as well as toy design. Prior to launching the gameHERs, I was designing toys for Al Khan, who is the visionary behind Pokemon and Cabbage Patch and everything. And sorry, there's other stuff coming in here. Sorry. And everything 80s that makes me feel super old. So on that note, today we have an amazing panel. We'll be talking about big trends that could directly impact your business. So a little bit of format to give you an idea on what to expect. We'll take a few moments for each of the panelists to briefly introduce themselves and tell a little bit about their background in the industry. I'd also like to take a moment to say we are very, very sad that our 4th co-founder, Berta Maloney, is not here. She had an unexpected conflict, so she was very sad to miss this, and we will miss her. I'll kick off the conversation asking questions that draw out some high-level themes and trends we should all be thinking about. And then during the last part of our time today, I'll invite you to join us on Ritual Motion if you're not here already. And details will be shared about this after this particular panel, where we'll invite you to have the opportunity to network and ask some specific questions to help you navigate the upcoming opportunities and challenges you may be having. So on that note, now that business is taken care of, to get us started, could you all please state your name, pronouns, and a bit about yourself? Rebecca, mic to you, passing the mic.
My name is Rebecca Dixon, and I am so excited to be here. I also am one of the 4 co-founders of the gameHERs. I am CEO of this amazing company, and we are super excited to be back for our 2nd annual Professional Bootcamp with Belong Gaming as our presenting partner. So thank you all for coming. My background is my corporate professional background is in media buying and ad sales. I transitioned from that to work with Heather and Laura, who are both here on this call. And their company that they had founded, and then I joined with them, was Mommy Bites in the parenting world. We learned a lot about community building around women. And after we sold that company, my family has been in the esports and gaming industry for many years. My dad and my brother are part of the ownership group of MV Gaming. So I am, I was really just interested to learn about the gaming industry, about esports, started following it around the same time Heather was working with Alcon and Pokemon, and noticed a lot of the situation for women in gaming. So that's what led me here, and we'll get a little bit more into that later, but I'm just really, really thrilled to be here. Want to thank everybody for coming, and I will kick it back to you, Heather.
Okay.
Laura.
Passing it on over to me. Hi, everyone.
You, my friend.
You all hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm Laura Deutsch. I also am one of the co-founders of the gameHERs. Here at the gameHERs, I am the Chief Product Officer, and I'm very involved with our new app. A little bit of history. By trade, I am actually a middle and high school math teacher. Interesting. And then in 2006, I actually started a community in New York City for new moms. I was a new mom myself, and I found it hard to meet other new moms, so I wanted to create that community. Little did I know that that community would take off and grow into a thriving business. And then Heather Ouida came on board as my partner, and we grew it. And then Rebecca Dixon came on board, and we grew it further. And as Rebecca said, we sold it in 2016. So I am very familiar with starting a business from zero and the small steps that need to be taken to really make it something. And I'm looking forward to giving you some advice on this panel. I'm looking forward to having you all here. I hope you learned so much throughout this weekend and this boot camp. And thank you all so much for joining us. Heather, back to you.
Mary, I'm hoping, Mary.
Is that working?
Yay! Mary in the house.
Always good on tech. Hi everyone. Great to be here. So my name is Mary Antieul. Preferred pronouns are she, her. My role is as a VP of Strategy and Customer at Belong Gaming Arenas. So very new into the US, starting to build locations across the US, and we've got 5 at the moment, many more to come. Previously been in the UK as well, so with 26 locations there. So we love to build and establish local communities, and we also network and connect them globally as well, so that people can play together, watch different games together, and compete together across all of the different games that we've got. Love to be a part of this panel and work with gameHERs to look at how Belong can drive inclusivity and positive experiences for women and femme identifying gamers. It's very exciting to us, and it's a key part of our strategy and beliefs as a business.
Mary, we are thrilled to have you here. And I'm just getting some news into the chat that Rebecca, I think people that are watching on Virtual Motion missed your intro, so I think you'll probably get into a little bit of your role in some of these questions. But for everyone that missed Rebecca introducing herself, she is our CEO and one of the 4 co-founders here at the gameHERs, and she'll get into a little bit more, I think, what y'all missed in some of these questions. So again, welcome everyone. We are so excited to be here. We are honored that you're choosing to spend your time here with us today, and we'll get right into it. So Rebecca, let's start with you. Can you talk a little bit about the mission of the gameHERs and why we decided to really start bootcamp?
Sure, and I can. Yes, I will do that. So the gameHERs, as Heather mentioned earlier, in case any of you missed that, is a media platform, social network, and lifestyle brand for women who game and work in the gaming industry. And we launched in March of 2020. We launched the gameHERs. We were super excited to experience a lot of initial and still current support from women and the industry at large. It also did coincide with the beginning of the pandemic. And as you know, 2020 also was there was sort of a resurgence of the social justice movement. And I think that gave us a lot of, there was a lot of real kind of interest in what we were talking about. That being said, at that time, what we noticed in all of our spaces, so we launched it with a newsletter, a podcast, on all the social networks, in our Discord. And one of the big themes that was discussed over and over again was jobs. So first of all, there is a big crossover between women who game and women who work in the gaming industry, or women who would like to work in the gaming industry. And we noticed that right away. There were also a lot of people who lost their jobs because of the pandemic. There were a lot of people working different schedules, working at home, being at home. And so the one of the many topics, but one of the main topics that kept bubbling to the top in our spaces, primarily our Discord, which is just such an active and supportive space, was around careers and not only how to get into the gaming industry, which is incredibly important. And we're going to talk a lot about that this weekend on our various panels, but also maybe how to pivot in the industry, maybe how to pivot into the industry. I think that because this industry is, aligns with a passion of a lot of people's, playing video games, it seems like a really fun place to work. And it is a really fun place to work. It also seems a little intimidating if you can't figure out exactly how your skill set might align with different job paths in gaming. So what we started thinking about, started brainstorming on, is how can we take, of course, the experience of us, the co-founders, also the experience of our team at that time, which now is bigger, but the people who were on our team from day one, and we're lucky to have a lot of them still here. We took all of those, the experiences of all of us, brainstormed about how to best engage with our community. And then also we were from the very beginning in a very valuable, I think, and we're grateful for this position to be able to have direct access to a lot of the women in the industry who have wanted to help figure out how to get more women and femme-identifying gamers into the industry. So we kind of started brainstorming and thinking, and that is the genesis of what we are kicking off right now. And just, really excited to be here again, year 2. We are incredibly grateful to the women. And also, by the way, we've got some men speaking this weekend as well. And we have people from all different parts of the industry. We have representatives from, all different sort of orgs and publishers. We have some great topics on different experiences in the gaming world. And we just look forward to kicking off an incredible weekend.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Rebecca. So some of you, I think, maybe missed our little introduction, but I was mentioning my role here at the gameHERs as co-founder and president. So moving right along, Mary, I know you touched on this a little bit in your intro, but could you talk more about the background and mission of Belong Gaming? It's quite a unique business model and experience, and also why you as a company decided to be a leading sponsor with us here at Bootcamp.
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry, I can hear myself.
Heather, if I may, let me share a little bit about why we're so happy to be working with Belong. From very early on in our journey with the building of this company, we were lucky enough to know Belong Gaming. And from day one, their whole team has talked about, as they open up all of their arenas all across the US, that making sure that the arenas really did make everybody feel like they belong was an important goal. And the mission of their entire team, from that point on to this day and forward, I think has really been visible in the people that they hire and the experiences of gamers at the studio, at the arenas. And so we're thrilled to have Belong here to support this event, and also just to be able to show that we're so aligned in our commitment to that. So thank you to Mary for being here and the entire Belong team. And I could talk on and on about Belong. So if Mary's audio does not get fixed, do not worry, Mary. I will shout to the roof, to the sky about how aligned we are with Belong and how thankful we are for your partnership.
We're really, as an organisation, it's really important to us that when we're setting up our local communities, and each of our local communities are built around a physical location. So in each of the cities in the US, and we're looking at the locations that we want to go into. But when we put a location in place, it's really important to us that we build a community that's inclusive and also having a positive impact as well. And so that's really important to us, to make our arenas safe spaces to play in, to mean that anyone feels that they can come in and play, have a great experience, and all of the different consoles, the PCs that we have in place, and the games and the partners that we bring in to be able to activate and have access to some of the great experiences that we provide. And so working with gameHERs for us is really important, because we want to make sure that we're doing it in an authentic and meaningful way. And we have a lot of great resource and a lot of great experience in the business ourselves with this, but we also want to make sure that we're getting best practice and working and looking for opportunities to work with partners who can really help us achieve our objectives of being very inclusive in the space.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mary. And I know you'll get into this in a little bit about the quite deliberate recruitment and hiring process y'all are doing. So I'll circle back to that. So moving on, as Rebecca and Mary mentioned, a theme for this weekend is connections, career advice, inspiration, and our goal is to during multiple times during all of these sessions and panels, for all of you to have tidbits of information that we hope will be really useful as you build your own careers and your own professional brands. So on that note, I thought it would be valuable if Laura, our CPO, could talk a little bit about what things people should think about when building great products and user experiences.
Thanks. I love that question, because what I've learned through my times in creating products, be it for the gameHERs, be it for Mommy Bites, is the most important thing is you have to listen. You have to listen to the community of people who you are building a product for. It's not the time to impart your own opinions onto what you think they would want. So how do you do that? You literally go out there, like, depending on what stage of a business you're in. If you're in the very beginning stage of a business and you're looking to create a product, you better bet you're going to be out there interviewing all the people that you think this product is for, and finding out what are the pain points of the current way that you use this product, or if the current system you are using, and find out. Because many times people, I've heard it many times over, people think they have a great idea for a business, and it could sound like a great idea, and they could put all this work into creating it and doing it and putting it all together, and then they launch and there's crickets, because you just don't know. So my biggest advice in creating a product is to do surveys, talk to people, get out there and network, because guess what? People have opinions and they will tell you. So if you look here inward into the gameHERs, and so I'm really involved with the app here. We have incredible ambassadors in our beta program that have been with us from day one. And you better believe that we have gotten such incredible feedback from them, who have guided us to what we produce next. So, the gameHERs came on board. We had done research for years, knowing what was missing, we feel, in the community. And that's where the gameHERs app was born. And that's where everyone came in. And guess what? It's you all, it's our community who told us what you wanted and what you loved and what you didn't love. And you know what? We had some pivots because of you all. We thought we were going to be building something, and in actuality, we pivoted because of everything that you had to say and help us with. So I will stop there. And thank you, Heather, for that incredibly important question. I loved it.
So just to pause for a moment, for those of you new to our community, Laura mentioned our app, and for those of you that don't know what our app is, lots of companies create apps that are just a version of their website in an app, which is great. We did that for our last company that Laura mentioned, we all built together, and that worked great. We quite deliberately, to Laura's point, listened to y'all and created a very different experience in our app. So for those of you that haven't had a chance to take a look, we invite you to. It's free. You can get it in Android and Apple, and it's quite literally the first social networking and career networking app for women and femme-identifying gamers to connect and form friendships. It was built by women for women, led by a woman on the development side. And you know, to Laura's point on creating as great a product as is possible. We really did try to listen to our community, and we tried to be really thoughtful with every experience happening in the app, from the onboarding experience to what happens once you come into the app, and a huge shout out to our ambassadors in there. Really truly, for those of you new to the app, when you go in, you'll see they're all there. Almost no posts go unanswered because of them. Again, this is part of what we were talking about, a user experience. So just wanted to say that for those new to the community, a little bit about what the app actually is. So thank you for that, Laura. Mary, circling back to you, can you talk about, I mentioned this before, Belong is being incredibly deliberate in your hiring. So can you talk about the importance of diversity in recruitment, as well as fostering the professional development of the people in your company? And I say this really as a question for you, a company that we're forging relationships and partnerships with, just so people can learn about you, because I know you all are hiring across the country. But also, Mary, because I'm assuming we have people listening that are starting their own companies, starting their own businesses, and or in positions in their company where they can affect recruitment and hiring, that could learn from what y'all are doing.
Yeah. Oh, once again, I'm having sound issues.
You and Carlos can figure out what's going on.
While we're waiting for Mary, Heather, do you want me to talk a little bit about our collegiate program that we launched? And that might be a good use of this time, because I know we were going to get there.
I actually would love that, Rebecca, because it really ties into what Mary was saying, but again, we couldn't hear that well, on deliberate business choices, and on what Laura was saying about listening to what your community wants. So Rebecca, that's a great idea.
It does. And I want to also just reiterate how grateful we are for Belong's partnership. And if by some chance Mary doesn't get the opportunity to share what they're doing in this panel, we will find another time in boot camp for her to do that, because it's actually just important enough that we want it to be shared, because it's really in aligned with our mission. Very early on in our journey with the gameHERs community, we realized that if we were going to be impactful in a big way for women and femme-identifying gameHERs, that we would need to figure out and understand what we could do in the collegiate space, meaning college-age gamers. And as anybody who is in this industry already knows, it's a tricky place, because it's fragmented, meaning there are a lot of different companies and organizations who are trying to figure out ways to bring esports teams onto college campuses, leagues, conferences, streamers, all of it. It's a complicated space. It's also a big space. And I think why it's relevant to bring up what we've been doing in collegiate, which I'll get to in just a minute, but on this professional boot camp, is that college-aged gamers are the future of the industry. And so we did a lot of what Laura said. We listened to our community. We did a lot of networking in the collegiate space. We met as many people as we could to learn. And we got very specific feedback that a great way to kick off anything that we do in college would be to launch a collegiate Discord. And so that's what we've done. We are super, super excited. We have a team leading our collegiate program. It's Leonie, Bethany, and Sheridan. So thanks to the three of you. As we were launching the first week, it was a big rush to get it out, get it all up. And Danielle and Jennifer joined the collegiate team for the week. So our team is always just really amazing about coming together for big events, not unlike this. The collegiate Discord is off to a great start. We have so many schools on board. We have so many gamers on board. We have lots of big plans. Currently, there are coaches' corners every 2 weeks. We are attending some collegiate events in person. Next week, we will be in Atlanta, which I know a lot of other people in the college space will be there. And in the fall, we're looking at doing a whole number of things, everything from on-campus conferences, addressing DEIB issues, and we're just super excited to be there. I will say one of the biggest topics that has bubbled to the top in collegiate, just like in our initial launch of the company, is jobs. And so we are really thrilled to talk about, not just talk about, to facilitate internships, jobs, mentorships, and more to come on some of those details very soon. But join our collegiate Discord if you have not already. And with that, I will hopefully be able to kick it back to Heather, and then we'll see if Mary can jump on.
Thanks, Rebecca. I just want to take a beat because this is coming up in some of the chats here. Rebecca mentioned this at the beginning, but this is a boot camp for everyone. And yes, the gameHERs is a community for women and femme-identifying people who work and live in the gaming space. But we do have a lot of men in our community and male allies who have been real supporters in helping us grow and getting the word out. So thank you. We see you. Thank you for being here. Okay, Mary. Let's see. Back to you. So you were saying, let me do a little sound check first before I queue up a question.
Is that working? Hello?
It is. And you can hear us okay?
I can. And I can't hear myself.
Amazing. Mary, listen, this happens in this landscape all the time. Rebecca and Laura know I was moderating a panel and my computer completely crashed. And then it was just random people on a panel with no moderator. And I had Carlos may have been working behind the scenes in that. Anyway, my point being, welcome back. This stuff happens. Okay. I want to circle back. You were talking about being deliberate as a company in your recruitment. So I want to cue that back up.
Yeah, great. So it's really important to us. We look at it from a experience and culture point of view, but we want to make sure we've got a diverse mix of people in our organisation that really offer those differences in experiences, viewpoints. And when we bring groups of people to work together on the different areas of belong, it makes a real difference when you've got that diversity in the team. So it's really important to us. We've got a great people team who lead on that for us and bring the kind of direction and strategy and structure to the Belong business, and also work very closely with Index, of which we're a part of, who operate at the same at their level as well. So it's really important to us. And then we also look at how the development of people within the business is structured as well. So once again, thinking about individual experiences and what each person needs, what they're looking to do. And everybody has a different background, as we've already talked to on this panel, but also everyone has slightly different ambitions, times in their life that need to be considered, and how they want to kind of develop and structure, and what role Belong can play within that.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Mary. Laura, I want to kick it back to you for a moment. This is a two-part question. what are some ways that people can network and find jobs without going through a recruiter? I think part of the theme of this boot camp is how do you grow your own personal brand and find jobs without throwing a ton of money at recruiters or at agencies. So I'd love your input on that, because you've now built and grown 2 businesses. And how can people grow their own personal brands organically with, again, not having to pay for advertising or agencies?
So interestingly, Heather, I believe that the answer to both of those questions, while very separate, is also very similar.
Okay.
In both scenarios, you need to get out there and be involved and network and go to meetings and try different events like all you who are here and meet people, because growing and expanding, unfortunately, is very hard. It can be done, but it's much harder to do in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just incredibly helpful to make connections, make partnerships, find resources out there that allow you to post about whatever it is you are doing. Also, it never hurts to, if you have, for instance, if you are making this up, a graphic designer, and you are looking for work, it never hurts to email companies or that you just would love to work for. Get your kicker resume going, have a great intro letter, and just send it out there and just send it to a bunch of companies. This is so interesting and yet antiquated at the same time. When
So you just say that we're old, but let's go.
We're old. But when I wanted to become a teacher, I was currently getting my master's, but I was looking at private schools in Manhattan, and I wanted to find a job. So I literally went to the phone book and found private schools in New York City, and I started going down and sending my resumes to each of the private schools. And P.S., the one I found started with a D, very close to the. You just get out there. You never know who's looking. People don't always post a job. People don't even realize they need a certain job. We at the gameHERs have had that happen. At Mommy Bites, we've had that happen. Just putting yourself out there. So I would say that's one of the best things you could do. It's scary too. It's very scary to put yourself out there, especially if you're not necessarily an extrovert. And what I try to tell people who find it maybe hard to network and get out there is do one thing a day. Email one person a day. Email one company a day. Join one group. Go join a meetup group, a Facebook group. But if you can do one thing a day, these things will all build up, and the harder you work, the luckier you get.
It's so true. We have a saying often that we stole from Facebook, which is done is better than perfect. Which is hard sometimes to find the balance, because y'all heard me go on and on that I couldn't even do this panel with that open in the background. So that's the perfection part of me. But it's Laura, you said this, I heard, and you said it in a podcast recently. And it just sat with me that sometimes, because I know I do this, I use the need for perfection as a way to protect myself from putting myself out there professionally. So yeah, I think that's really, really good advice. Okay. So in our remaining minute, I want to just thank everyone for coming and joining us this weekend. I know how valuable all your time is. So thank you all for being here.